Okay, here's another free live support request that I'll be posting up on YouTube. So here we're going to be looking at a few questions over here, okay? So question number 91, this is in practice test 1, I believe. So let's take a look at it. Question 91, if Anthony and Bridget take turns watching TV every 4 hours, and Anthony's third watch was at 10 p.m., and Bridget was the first one to watch TV, then when did Bridget begin her second watch? Okay, so as soon as you see this question, what you want to do is, try to make a diagram so it makes more sense, okay? So I know that Anthony and Bridget, they're taking turns, so if Anthony's watching it, after Anthony watches it, Bridget watches the TV, and then after Bridget, Anthony goes again. So what are our key information here? Well, it's saying that Bridget was the first. Bridget was the first one to watch TV. So let's just say Bridget, okay? So Bridget is here, okay? So Bridget is the first one to watch TV. I have no idea when she started, but Bridget is the first one to watch TV. After Bridget, it's going to be Anthony. So let's just go ahead and write this down, okay? Now, I know that they take turns watching TV every 4 hours, but the the meat of the information that we have over here is Anthony's third watch was at 10 p.m., right? And this over here is Anthony's first watch. I'm trying to get to Anthony's third watch, so I'll write Bridget here again, right? Because this is going to be Bridget, and after Bridget watches TV, Anthony will come next, and then Bridget will come again, and then Anthony will come again, right? So let's take a look at it over here. So this is Anthony's first watch, this is Anthony's second watch, and this is Anthony's third watch. And it says in the question directly, Anthony's third watch was at 10 p.m. So Anthony's watch over here is at 10 p.m. And the question asks you, when did Bridget begin her second watch? So so this is what we're trying to figure out, right? This over here, when did Bridget start watching, right? This is going to be the answer to our question. Well, now it's fairly straightforward. I can actually go ahead and go backwards now, right? And I know that they switch turns every 4 hours. So instead of adding 4 hours, I will be subtracting 4 hours, right? I'll subtract 4 hours here. I'll subtract 4 hours to know when was Anthony's second watch, and then finally subtract another 4 hours to finally get Bridget's second watch time. And if you do that, if you subtract 4 over here, 4 over here, 4 over here, you'll notice that it's a total of, I'm subtracting 12 hours in total, and if you go back from 10 p.m. 12 hours, you'll get to 10 a.m. in the morning, which is answer choice C, 10 a.m. Question number 94 can be tricky if you don't know what you're looking for, right? So the angle is between the two diagonal lines of the cube, right? So it's this line over here and this line over here. And in the figure above, what is angle theta? Well, interesting, right? At first it looks like, well, how do you approach this problem? Well, think about it, right? So let's just say I have just a square, okay? If I take the diagonal of a square, right? This diagonal has a certain value, right? Let's just say this value is going to be y, okay? Well, if I take another side of the square and also ask what the diagonal is, it's also y, right? Check it out. Isn't this over here, this square over here, isn't this square the same exact dimension as this square over here? Aren't these two squares exactly as the square dimensions on top? Yes, it is, right? All these squares basically have the same exact dimension. So meaning that if this was a square and the length was 3, that means that all the lengths and widths of the sides are 3. Even the height is 3, right? Well, what does that tell you? Well, the diagonals stay the same, right? The diagonals stay the same. Now notice that there's something very important here, right? So let me actually clear everything I've just drawn here, so I can show you something. Okay, so take a look at this. Okay, I'm looking for the diagonal, right? So here is one diagonal. Okay, here is another diagonal of the other square, and now if I actually connect the top, you see the top side over here. What if I take this diagonal, right? Well, then I get a triangle, right? And not just any kind of triangle. What kind of triangle is it? It's an equilateral triangle. Why? Well, remember, all the sides, all this entire cube over here has the same dimensions. It has the same length, the same width, the same height, meaning that the diagonals are the same meaning that this is an equilateral triangle, and an equilateral triangle has what? An equilateral triangle always has 60 degrees on each side. So this side is 60 degrees, this side is 60 degrees, and this side is 60 degrees. Therefore, what is angle theta? 60 degrees, which is answer choice H. Okay, taking a look at question number 83 and also practice test 1. Set A contains the value set 1, 2, 3, and A. Set B contains 2, 4, 5, A squared, and B. What is A, this weird symbol over here, right? And actually, you should know what this weird symbol is. What is that? It's A intersection B, okay? It's A intersection B. This symbol over here is intersection, and the opposite is union, okay? So hopefully you already know this, okay? The U stands for union. A very easy way to remember this is, well, if you see a U, the U stands for union, right? And if you see the opposite, that is intersection, and intersection is whenever you see an intersection symbol, it means that what common numbers do we have between both the sets? So when it's asking what is A intersection B, it's asking you out of this number set and this number set, or these values, what do we have in common, right? Do we have a 1 over here? Do we have a 1 in set B? No, we don't. Do we have a 2 common? Yes, we do. A 2 over here and a 2 over here. So this 2 is common. How about a 3? I don't have a 3 in set B. I don't have A in set B, right? Same here. I don't have a 4, 5, A squared, or B. So the only thing I have common is 2. So I can go ahead and write this down, which is D. Okay, question number 58. This is in practice test 2. I've got several requests for this question. Let's take a look at it. Train A traveling at 200 miles per hour leaves station A at 1 p.m. So here I have train A. I know train A is 200 miles per hour, and it leaves at 1 p.m. Train B, on the other hand, so train B is here. It travels at 300 miles per hour, and it leaves the station at 3 p.m. Both stations are directly across from each other and X miles away. Okay, if the trains meet at 4 p.m., what is X? Well, you know what? We can draw a diagram, right? Both stations are directly across from each other. Okay, so if train A is over here and it's traveling this way, train B will be over here traveling this way. And if train B already starts at, train B is starting at 3 p.m., right? But it's saying that both the trains meet at 4 p.m. So that means that train B is going to be traveling for 1 hour, right? And if it travels for 1 hour, how many miles has it gone? Well, the train B speed is 300 miles per hour, meaning at 4 p.m., right, somewhere over here at 4 p.m., this train has traveled 300 miles, and basically it's going to meet train A right over here, okay, right over here, somewhere over here, okay, right, because what is the question asking you? It's asking you, if the trains meet at 4 p.m., what is X? Well, what is X? X is miles away, right? Both stations are directly across from each other and X miles away. So they're asking for the total distance, right, from station A to station B. Okay, so let's take a look at train A. Now, train A is traveling 200 miles per hour, but it leaves at 1 p.m., right? It leaves at 1 p.m., meaning how many hours is it traveling before it can reach this point over here? 3 hours, right? From 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., it's 3 hours, right? 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. That's a 3-hour difference. So if it's traveling for 3 hours, at a speed of 200 miles per hour, well then to find the total amount of miles traveled for the 3 hours, I have to multiply 3 hours times 200 miles per hour, which is going to be 600 miles. So this train A will have traveled 600 total miles. So here's station A, here is station B. Station A is going to be, well, as train A travels for 3 hours, it's going to be going 600 miles in this distance, and station B is here. Train B will be traveling 300 miles, and here is where they'll be meeting each other, crossing each other, whatever you want to say it. Here is where they'll be meeting, and the question is asking how many miles away are the both stations. Well, I have to add up this entire distance over here, which is 600 plus 300, which is 900 miles. Answer choice G. Okay, the next question we're going to look at is question number 96 in practice test 1. What is 0.5333333 minus 0.3, oh, I'm sorry about that, not 0.53333, .5333. What is .535353, right? 53 repeating subtracted by .36 repeating. Now, there's a trick, there's a reason why we gave you this question. There's a trick to it. There's a rule that you should know, hopefully. And that is that anytime you're given a repeating decimal, apologies for that, anytime you're given a repeating decimal, so over here I have .53, .535353, in fraction form, you can easily convert that to 53/99. If I'm given this over here, let's just say .72 repeating, that would convert into fraction 72/99. Same thing goes, right? So if it's .89, it would be 89/99, and so on and so on and so on. So by knowing that rule, this problem becomes quite simple. This .53 repeating can turn into this fraction, and the .36 repeating can turn it into 36/99. And of course, I can do very simple subtraction now, and then 53 minus 36, I'll get 17/99, which is your answer choice J. Okay, question number 65. What is 5 factorial in parentheses factorial over 5 factorial? And the answer to this question is going to be none of the above, and I'll show you why, okay? So just think about it for a second, okay? 5 factorial is the same thing as 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? But what happens when this is in parentheses and you have another factorial to it, right? This number becomes insanely huge. 5 times 4 is 20, 20 times 3 is 60, 60 times 2 is 120, 120 times 1 is, of course, still 120. So essentially, on my numerator, I have 120 factorial over 5 factorial, and as you can see, this is going to be ridiculous, right? Can you imagine? So this is going to be 120 times 119 times 118, and so on and so on and so on, over this measly denominator, which is just 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is simply just divided by 120. This number is so big, right, so large, that by dividing by 120, we still end up with an incredibly large number, and automatically I can eliminate A and B, of course, but also C and D, because this number is way too large. Can you imagine multiplying 120 times 119 times 118 times 117 all the way down to times 2, right? That you would get an incredibly large number. So this number is so large that the answer choice is E, none of the above.